Hello there friends, Steve Turgoose here. Wanted to talk about intelligence. How clever do you think you are? It's a strange world we live in, and especially these times where we're trying to understand why the world's in such a situation, why society's seemingly gone off the rails, why there's so much political unrest, why there's so much lying in the media. And we're trying to work it out. What is it? What are we missing? What are we trying to find? What is the answer? And each time we think, okay, if this was different then that. And somehow we feel like we're too small to have the answer, that there's more intelligent people out there, people who, philosophers and businessmen and people who speculate on the stock markets and people who know foreign languages and foreign policy and, surely there's more skilled people than somebody who just lives down the street on a housing estate who's just seeing this on the internet, on a half-decent internet connection on some cheap electronic device, Who are we supposed to be to deal with a problem that's seems to emanate from politics in itself? The distribution of wealth, the distribution of money, how different people are paid differently, how a skilled worker will get more money in one job than another skilled worker in another. You get the idea. This imbalance, it's unfair. It's unfairness that I always think to myself, why can't the politicians just change the balance? Just reorganise the balance. Give people their potential. Give people that power back that they need. So I ask myself, okay, what is that power? What is that potential that we need? The man on the street, the man and the woman on the street, the child on the street. We've all got minds. Children say amazing things. If we listen to children more on some simple decisions, we'd get a lot further. And so, it's often the man on the street who understands the problems most. And the politicians just seem to be trying to make an economy, make things balanced so that their lives remain intact. But the rich, wealthy people's lives are based on money, on wealth, on servants, on equity, on illusion, really. It's as brittle as an egg. And so I find people who have any kind of wealth or power tend to be very, very careful not to change anything, not to take any big risks, because they're the ones with the most to lose. So they'll always be efficient with that money, making sure that they get a good lawyer before anything else. And this is an obvious outcome, really. This is just an obvious outcome of people, in a survival situation. That I'm thinking, okay, what do we need to know? What are we missing? Why isn't this happening? Why doesn't this become so clear to people that the system is unfair? Why? What? And I've looked into a lot of things myself. There's a lot of researchers out there looking deeply into uncovering truths. Because before we can understand the system, surely we need to look back at things that have happened and reassess whether it was really like that, or was the outcome intentional, or how did the course of events affect everything else, and across the globe. We get to this point where we see all of these terrible things, and we see a lot of things were lies, and we try and make our mind up, and we feel small, and we don't know if we're intelligent enough, and different people have got different views and perspectives on things. I on this channel talk a lot about language and law and things like that. Other people talk about the news and the illusions that are created in the mainstream media. So we're all working together. We're all working together. And I feel all the same that a lot of people feel unqualified to do anything, to actually make any changes. You know, what are the qualifications for making change in society? You know, do you need to speak out? Do you need to wave a sign? Do you need to make a channel and show your face and air your voice? You know, do you need to read books and study and study and study? What is intelligence? You know, well, intelligence really is different to wisdom and experience and knowledge and faith and comprehension. Intelligence is like what we collect, the information. But that information, you know, like the comings and goings of things and people, we can be deceived by that information, by that intelligence. We can be deceived by the outside view of things, by the nature of how things only appear to another subjectively. Now, suspicion arises from intelligence. And I think if we was to think about intelligence and mental dexterity and knowledge and wisdom, and I think there's a lot of people out there who don't claim to be knowledgeable, don't claim to be intelligent, don't claim to be academically enriched, you know, don't even claim to be able to speak properly. But they have such good hearts and the meanings are so well. So what is intelligence? What do you need to conquer this system with your mind, if that was the case? And I'm thinking the amount of things that there are to know in this world, the amount of different languages, cultures, dialects, histories, changes of histories, how many different people's lives there are, and everybody, every single one of us, every single person on this planet has a history. It's a very complicated history. So it's like if I was to say that I am closer to the moon than you are, because I'm standing between you and the moon, so I'm maybe 5 meters nearer to the moon, that would be laughable. That would be laughable if that was the same as intelligence. And I said I'm 2 meters more intelligent than you to the moon. Then it would be almost my downfall as an intelligent person to think that that even counted. Because in the next moment, intelligence may be worth nothing, and it may be false intelligence. And by trusting intelligence, we can take a really, really bad decision. Now, all decisions should be based on reason and based on love. You know, reason is not a reason, but it's reasoning. It's what we do in our minds when someone says 2 + 2 is 5, and we then turn that into a mathematical equation and think about it and calculate it and come up with an answer 4. Then we know that the answer is incorrect and how much by. And then we can question that whether they understand the answer is wrong or whether they was testing you. But if you was to take that 2 + 2 is 5 as read, and just to believe the other person, to trust, to have faith in something without thinking and using reason, then love would also be dangerous. You know, so reason seems to be something that humans inherit from life itself, the cosmos, the consciousness of the universe. We didn't create ourselves. We didn't create our thoughts. Maybe we've evolved or developed in some ways, but essentially our consciousness, our ability to reason, to worry if you like, or to contemplate, that ability comes from the source of life, comes from creation itself, comes from the beginning. You could say that there's been modifications, manipulations, evolutions, whatever along the way. But that source seems to give us some kind of reason. So no matter how old we are, no matter if we're small children, we seem to have some ability to reason with the world, to take something that someone else has said and to question it for ourselves and to get the answer. Is this good or bad? Is this true or false? Is this real? Is this irrelevant? Is this applicable? Should this remain a secret? Should this change? You know, a lot of different kind of conclusions can be made from reason in itself. And everybody seems to have that ability. And I think as long as we've got that ability to reason, that is the highest. That is the highest supreme ability of consciousness. And we all have that in us. And we should not for one moment think that just because we can't read a book, or because we can't understand the language, or we don't understand what somebody is saying, doesn't mean to say that it's us, that it's you that's saying it, that's hearing it wrong. You know, we have to just understand that communication is limited. Communication is limited, so what you know, what you feel, what you have in your heart is the most strongest gauge, the most strongest indicator, the most strong moral compass that you can have. And to know when that compass has been led astray or spinning round, to know the times where you need to just breathe in and out and take a look back at the world. Even that alone, to know when just to take a look. You know, everyone is qualified at life, because nobody else is better than anybody else at life itself. And you are life. You know, you haven't got a life, you are your life, you know. We are life, and we are love. And that's how we create things, with our love. Alright, thanks a lot for watching and being here with me and everything else, and I wish you a good time. I'll see you later in the next video. Cheerio.